Welcome to In the Jungle. I'm Matt Edwards. Quick programming note before we start. I will not be back with another podcast until either the first or second week in June. Got a lot going on. You'll just have to deal with that. Chris Brantley, my good friend, former colleague at WLWT. When did we originally meet? I think when you were an intern at 10 TV and I was at NBC4.
Yes, we did. I was hanging out with Dom Taberry and
Big Dom.
Then what was it got big? Moose.
Moose was a sports director.
Yeah,
I think Dave
I was
Wilkins was there with you.
Yeah, Dave Wilkinson. He went to Atlanta. He's out of the business now. I think he sells insurance or something now.
All three of us, baby. We got out.
Yeah, he was the first guy that told me. He was like, yeah, you don't want to make a career out of this. He was like, you can do this for a couple of years, but you want something more stable in life. So yeah, I did my 5 years in it, and like now I'm working for the man.
Working for the man. He was not wrong. We're going to get to the Bengals schedule in just a second. I want to ask you a question I was thinking about today and actually looked up today. What would you pay for a Super Bowl ticket if the Bengals were in it? And would you want to go? Like for me, it's a thing. If the Bengals go to the Super Bowl, I know it's the only shot I might have. I'm going. What would you pay for a ticket? And would you go?
Well, considering I have a kid on the way, my parameters have kind of.
You can always have more kids. The Bengals can only get to the Super Bowl maybe
I would
once.
say probably 500.
Oh, you're not going to get in then.
I know. That would be it. I might push it to 750, but just to be in the house, like I would probably be like Kevin Hart was with the Eagles when they had won and they beat the Patriots a few years ago. Kevin Hart just got completely drunk and was walking up onto the stage, and the NFL security was like, no, you can't come up here. And he was like, hey, I'm Kevin Hart. That would be me. I would be like, hey, I've suffered with this franchise. Like, I deserve to be up here. Give me that doggone trophy.
Millions would be, well, I don't know, however many. I will say this, and I promise we'll get to the schedule because I know it just came out. It will be so much sweeter for Bengals fans if/when that day comes than any other fan base. Not any other. There's a few other, like, if you're as hardcore of a Bengals fan follower as you and I are, and so many other people are, if you are a fan of like the Lions, even the Browns, I mean, as much as annoying as the Browns have been recently, I have so many friends who are our age, who are diehard fans, who have never seen them do anything. And that kind of made me feel good for them last year and will moving forward. Of course, they will get annoying, but no one's ever going to have that feeling like we will when the day comes. Average Super Bowl ticket in 2019, because I didn't look up last year, I think was $3,200.
Yeah,
but
just too much.
You become an adult and you do that thing where you put back enough money so that if you were to lose your job, you'd have at least, what is it? I think I put back like 6 months worth, so that if I were to lose my job, I'd still be able to live my normal life. Right. I'll take that money and buy a Super Bowl ticket with it. That's just that.
My wife would kill me if I did that. She'd be like, nope. Because she's the one that does all the books and like looks at the finances. So she would know.
Okay. Well, I respect you choosing to not be murdered by your wife over going to the Super Bowl when the Bengals play in it. All right, let's get into the schedule. Just released hot off the press as we were recording this at 8:30 p.m. on May 12th. Just officially came out within the last 45 minutes. First quarter, you got the Vikings coming to Cincinnati. Then they go to Chicago. They go to Pittsburgh. And then it's a Thursday nighter against the Jaguars in Cincinnati. What sticks out to you there, Chris?
I mean, definitely that Thursday night game. It's going to be the national championship all over again, Burrow versus Lawrence. And you also have Burrow's former coach, Urban Meyer. Like that would be my one game I would probably pick to go to if I was going to a game in Cincinnati. It would be that game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Thursday night. You'll be out on the banks, get you some food, tailgate a little bit, and then go in and watch them in prime time.
And a battle of two ferocious jungle cats as well, the Jaguar and the Bengal Tiger. Two of the all-time greats. I do love opening with Minnesota just because you don't know what you're going to get with them, but it's a very winnable game at home. Chicago, and then it is kind of weird to go back-to-back NFC teams to start, but both winnable. And then look, you go to Pittsburgh right out of the gate. Let's get that one done with early. And then you do have the I guess, a short week to host Jacksonville at home. At least you don't have to travel very far. Obviously, Pittsburgh to Cincinnati, quick, like hour
Very
flight
close. Yeah,
at
if
most. So
that.
I mean, you go 2-2 right there, at least, right?
At least. And if they're 1-3 or 0-4, we're looking at another head coach by before the bye week.
If they're 0-4, I'm not going to say anything because this is going on a publicly recorded record. I will refrain from that. They'll go at least 2-2 right there. After that, the next four, and then we'll finish out with five. Obviously, there's 17 games this year. After that, on 10-10, my niece's birthday, the Green Bay Packers come to Cincinnati. And then here's my probably favorite thing about the schedule. Their longest road stretch is 3 games, and it's after Green Bay comes in. So first of all, they've got a 10-day break between the Jags and the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, assuming he's in Green Bay, is a pretty good quarterback to have 10 days to prepare for. No matter what, after that, they go to Detroit, to Baltimore, to the Jets. Obviously, Baltimore is the most important game there, but your longest road trip of the season, you've got 2 dumpsters of a franchise with the Lions and Jets. You get to go and hopefully, win 2 of those 3 games. You want to win all 3, but we know what it's like to play in Baltimore, despite how well the Bengals played there over the past, 15 years.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about that stretch either because they're all on the East Coast. All hour, maybe 2-hour max going to New York, and that's what you want. And it's coming up right before the bye week too, so that's very, very advantageous for them.
Advantageous might be the biggest word ever used on this podcast.
I'm sorry for throwing out the big words for you.
We have a 4th grade reading level audience on In the Jungle, and that's a grade higher than I am myself. So there's the first 8 games of the season. I do hate that it's not broken up into quarters anymore. By the way, I got some work done on my teeth Sunday. My lisp is stronger than ever. I've still got the Invisalign in. Once the Invisalign's gone, I'll be in good shape. That's what the problem is. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Invisalign my ass. It's Visalign is what it is. So there's your first 8. And then the Cleveland Browns come to Cincinnati on November 7th, right before the bye. I mean, that kind of, I guess we'll split it up in halves before and after the bye. That's kind of, I guess at that point, you've got 3 division games in. You've got both the 2 hard, I don't know. We'll see. I think Cleveland's probably a harder road game than Pittsburgh at this point. But you've got 3 in. And I think you can eat, and I don't want to say easily, but I think it's okay to think at that point, the Bengals could go into the bye looking at, let's see, I got to do the math now. 5-4. I don't think 5-4 is crazy. I think 4-5 is probably more realistic.
And even if at 4-5, you're not even looking, you're still looking pretty good on the back half.
Yeah. And I love that bye week being right there in week 10, that is too. That's, I don't know what the bye weeks are like, but too. Yeah. What do you make? Where do you have them at after 9 games heading into the bye?
I would say probably around that 4-5. I'll probably go 4-5 because I still think that Burrow's going to probably take it a little bit easier coming back. He's not going to play in the preseason. He's definitely going to be back week 1, but it's going to get him maybe a game or 2 to kind of get that feel back and get hit and like on that knee. You know how ACL injuries are. They just take a long time to heal, but I would say 4-5 in the first half.
I'll say this, as someone who's covered Urban Meyer throughout his career, well, not throughout his career, that's an absolute lie. As someone who's covered Urban Meyer during his time at Ohio State, do you know how insane it will drive him if he loses to a head coach who is 6-25-1 as of right now?
Oh, oh my gosh. You know, like how he would be on the sidelines with like his migraines and he would like go down to the ground and take a bite out of the grass or whatever. Like he would be like that on the sideline.
Oh, need another Papa John's pizza.
Or that.
You know that picture was taken by our friend and Cincinnati Enquirer, Cincinnati FC beat writer Pat Brennan.
No way.
You didn't know Pat took that?
I did not know that.
Pat took that picture when we were in college, and it just blew up and got. This was back in like 2011, 2012, when it would have been 2012. And it just blew up when we were college reporters. But yeah, Pat took that picture.
Wow.
He
That was
might
his
have to
first claim to
replicate it
fame.
this year. Yeah, his first one. Yeah, and now it's like he got tired of it pretty quick, because of course he's a good reporter and didn't want his award, not award winning, but most notable piece to be Urban Meyer in a blurry picture eating Papa John's.
That's
All right,
hilarious.
it is hilarious. So after the bye, the Bengals will play the Axe body spray franchise of the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders.
I saw that today on the
The Pop
Chargers. That was
Tarts.
hilarious.
That was
Yeah,
great. The Chargers do good at social media.
they do.
Um, they do a great job. But what they call the Bengals, like the concrete, that wasn't very good. I felt like it was like
Yeah,
the
it wasn't
concrete.
good.
They did
I don't
call
even remember.
they called the Browns the baked beans. That was
And they called the
good.
Steelers the TikToks, but they used TJ Watt instead of Juju as the picture.
That's a fireable offense.
I know. It's like there's a layup and you missed it.
By the way, if you want to go to a road game, Vegas might be the one to do it. Obviously, it's Vegas, but they now have it'll be November. I don't know what the weather's like there in November. They now have those like the party decks with the pools and stuff.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be fun. I saw. Are they the one that they will have a DJ out there too?
Yeah, like the guy who is apparently the house DJ at the Win will now be at Raiders games, which I'm
Wow.
not. Here's the thing. If I would never want to do that on a regular basis, but it's also a thing where like you want to do it one time.
Oh yeah, I would definitely go. I would definitely do that, and especially like with going to Vegas, like it's not going to be like 105 degrees
It's
out there. It'll
true.
probably be in the 60s, maybe 50s. I mean, it'll be definitely cool at night, but that'll be a fun trip. You go to the sport book during the day or before the game, and then you go to the game and just hang out.
You can do whatever you want out there. There's no rules, and it all stays in Vegas. So that's the good news. The bad news is after that is when the schedule kind of gets tough. So all right, there's a bye week. They go to Vegas. Good news, 3 in a row at home. Pittsburgh, the Los Angeles Chargers, and San Francisco. All 3 teams that expect to make the playoffs this year. As much as we like to make fun of the Steelers, and as much as they deserve it because they're a bunch of hillbillies, they did start 11-0 last year.
Yeah, they did.
They're still a team that obviously has a pretty good roster and a head coach, as much as I hate to admit it, who always seems to find a way to have them in it that time of year, that November, December time of year. So you got a 3-game homestand right there. Steelers, Chargers, San Francisco. What do you make of it?
Ooh, I mean, at this point, I'm just a bit worried about is the offensive line average because you got TJ Watt and then you got the Bosa brothers back to back. Then you got
Good point.
Von
Good
Miller.
point.
So hopefully by that time we know what the offensive line is. Hopefully there's not a ton of injuries, but that is the meat of the schedule for me. Like that's kind of like your make it or break it. If they're still in it, then and they can go 2-1, I think you could maybe think that they could be a wild card team.
And that's always a hope for me right here. Excuse me, I had to clear my old throat there. That's always a hope for me at the end of November, early December, is be in the hunt. Be in the hunt at this point. Okay, let's say late November, be in the hunt to win the division, but be in firm position where you feel good about a wild card. And look, I know, like I just mentioned, Zac Taylor's record, not good. I think it's easy, and you should get excited. You should have hopes that your team at least makes a playoffs. It's sports. It's a bunch of grown men throwing a football around and smacking into each other. Don't take it too seriously. But realistically, I know that the Bengals aren't going to be, Vegas doesn't have them to do very well, as they shouldn't, but it's an uphill climb from here. But I think that's a point in the year where you're really going to learn what this team is made of.
Yeah, and you really are. So, I mean, I just really think that the back half, it is going to be tough, but I'm looking at those 3 games and being like, that's who we're going to know if Zac Taylor is going to be back for a 4th year, or we really going to be looking at another coach and a top 10 pick.
Speaking of, I'll save that for a second from now. Let's go. We'll also see what Ben Roethlisberger doing right then, because, man, I didn't see anything from him down the stretch that made me think he's going to last into week 12 there, but we'll find that out. Obviously, Herbert versus Burrow, I'm very excited for. Look, Justin Herbert was great last year. A lot of guys have been great in their rookie year and kind of fallen off. I'm not saying he will, but this idea that he's the next Joe Montana, let's chill out on that a little bit. And then San Francisco, as good as their roster is, who knows what their quarterback situation will be. Very well could be Trey Lance at that time. I think if I had to bet, I would say it's going to be Trey Lance at that time.
Absolutely.
So let's move on. That is the longest homestand, by the way, 3 consecutive games. In total, the Bengals will play, let's see here, six of their last 9 at home, which is glorious, and 5 of their last 7 at home, with the one road game being the Denver Broncos. Denver kind of stinks. And look, to me, that's a big game because if they are in that wild card mix and Denver's what we think they're going to be, that's one where you go in there and prove that you're no longer the 4-12 team and that you're on the uphill climb. And when a game matters in December in cold conditions, you go out there and win in a tough place to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Denver, they do have a quarterback issue. I mean, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Locke? Is it going to be Bridgewater? They shockingly went defense in the draft in the first round. I for sure thought quarterback was on their menu, but that is a game that they need to win, especially going in the last 3, which is like another gauntlet to end the season.
Yeah, I mean, that last 3, probably 3 of the 4 favorites to win the AFC right there.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Am I missing anyone other than the Bills? I don't think so. No.
Yeah, it's just those 4, and I'm gonna go on a bold prediction. One of those 3 teams is gonna be in the AFC Championship game.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say that's
Easily.
a bold predicted. Yeah, I would say. I mean, the Chiefs. We all think the Chiefs because okay, so the Bengals in like this. They face the Ravens at home and then the Chiefs at home. The nice thing about that Chiefs at home game, I mean, in the past. Week 17, it's kind of like maybe they'll have the number 1 seed locked up and Patrick Mahomes doesn't play. Still not out of the question, in my opinion, that that's possible. I just think that highly of that team. And then how cool is it the Bengals are going to play 2 games in January? When's the last time that happened?
Never.
Like
maybe
88?
1988, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
90?
it would be 89, maybe 90.
No, it would be 90 because it was the 91 season. Like they beat the Raiders and then they lost in the AFC Championship game, I think.
Well, they didn't make the AFC Championship in 90. Oh, you know what? They beat the Raiders, and then I think they lost to. That's going to drive me insane. I'll look it up real quick. I do want to say that they in the game Carson Palmer got hurt in. Which, by the way, are you ever going to change your stupid header picture on Twitter?
No, I'm never going to change the Carson Palmer knee picture because that game, that's when I really became like a true fan, and it like ripped my heart out. So it just reminds me of that day, and I was just like crying in like my neighbor's basement because I just knew the Bengals were going to go to the Super Bowl, and I knew that it was robbed.
Every time I see that, I want to stab myself. Okay, the Bengals played 2 games in January in 2005. When that game happened on January 1st, they played at Kansas City and got beat, and didn't just get beat, got their asses kicked 37-3.
They sat everybody that game.
Okay, did they? Because I was going to say, I do not remember that. I do remember the game before against the Bills. Remember the Bills always used to play them tough. So, okay, that won't be the first time that happens. While we're on the subject, they beat Houston in the playoffs in 1990 and lost to Los Angeles in the divisional round.
Okay.
So I know we've been all over the place, and that's me. I'm going crazy, but it's exciting. So then they wrap up in Cleveland, which here's my thing with that. I just want that to have some sort of implication, some sort of playoff implication. And, hopefully it's the Bengals getting in, but even if they can rip something away from Cleveland, that's nice too.
That would be so exciting. And then especially, I mean, there are going to be some Bengals fans in the house if it's a playoff implicated game, because I have neighbors who drive a bus up every year to Cleveland to see the game. So it's definitely going to be some bad blood if it's 2 teams fighting for a playoff game or playoff game.
Dude, you got to take a bus up there. Their fans are mean.
Oh, they're ruthless.
And I don't know why either. Like I think anyone who follows me on Twitter or knows me in real life, like if they're not playing the Bengals, I like to see the Browns do well, because the alternative is the Steelers and Ravens. They're just a mean bunch up there. I don't know if it's the frigid weather or what.
They're brutal. I was up there for the draft 2 weeks ago, and
Oh yeah.
I had my Burrow jersey on, and everybody was like coming up to me and booing me. I'm like, hey, I root for the Browns. Like I'm a big Denzel Ward fan. Like I
You were like,
like their
sir, I am
players.
not Joe Burrow himself. I'm just someone who supports him.
Right. I'm just a fan. Oh man, like they are brutal up there. But I mean, honestly, if I wasn't living here in Nashville, I would probably be living in Cleveland because all my friends are from there.
All right. Well, thank God that you've made it to Tennessee. All right. So we'll go over this one more time. Week 1, Vikings at home, then a 2-game stretch with the Bears and Steelers on the road. Then it's that Thursday night game at home against Jacksonville. The Packers come to town the week after that. So that's the first 5 weeks. Then you go on the road for that 3-game stretch. Lions, Ravens, Jets, and then it's the Browns at home. Then you get the bye week. So you got 9 games in, and then you go to Las Vegas on November 21st, which will be the 10th game of the season. After that, a 3-game homestand, which we both agree is very important. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Los Angeles Chargers, the San Francisco 49ers. What a contrast that is. 2 teams from California, and then the ugly toilet of a city that is Pittsburgh. And then they go to Denver to take on the Broncos before the Ravens and Chiefs come to town, and they close it out with the Browns. I hope everyone's got all that. What do you think? What record-wise? I mean, the homer in me wants to say that like 10-7 is achievable.
I was gonna go 8. I was gonna conservatively say 8 and 9.
I think that's more. I think 8. I think anywhere in between there. Let's see. So if they're, I think 7-10. Let's say this. At what point do we as fans have a right to be a little pissed off? Like, what's the record where you can say we need to talk about Zac Taylor?
My thing is he needs to at least win 8 games to save his job.
In
At
a
least
17
8.
game season, that would, I'm never going to get used to this. That would be 8-9.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I agree with you. I think 7-10 would 7-10. Yeah. You can't be 3 games below 500. I just don't know.
If he's 7-10, they bring him back for year 4.
I think you're right. I mean, seven games in 1 year, that's more than he's won in his first 2 years combined.
Absolutely, like he's definitely coming back if they're 7-10. But in my opinion, if it's 8, it's 8 and 9 for him to get a 4th year.
Okay, you're probably right. 10-7 probably gets them in the playoffs, and that's a little optimistic. Tell me this: I was shocked by one primetime game and a throwaway primetime game too, a Thursday nighter against a franchise that really no one pays attention to.
Well, I kind of knew that they were going to for sure be the Jacksonville game was going to be Thursday night. I just it's just kind of lined up.
Yeah, I think everyone thought that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I felt that the Chargers game was going to be a primetime game. I felt like that was going to be like a Monday night because you'll have Burrow versus Herbert. But
yeah,
I guess they didn't feel the same way.
Yeah, I don't think that the league is necessarily as interested in that. And I don't really blame. I don't know. I don't think people outside of, because when I had Joe Reedy on a while back, I brought that up to him, and it was kind of, I don't think outside of the Chargers and Bengals fan bases, most people think about that as much as we do. I don't think, especially when you look at all the quarterback talent in the league, I don't think there's as many people who, I mean, as good as Justin Herbert was, it's not like he was, Mahomes in his first year or Deshaun in his first year, where it was like, dude, you got to see this guy. I mean, as good as Herbert is, he's pretty basic kind of good.
He is, but I still think that it's still fresh in people's mind. Like the middle of the season, everybody's like, oh, is it going to be Burrow? Is it going to be Herbert that's going to win the Rookie of the Year? Then sadly, Burrow got hurt, but that's why I kind of felt like that was going to be the game. But no other games. Maybe one of the Steelers games would have been a Sunday night game that they could have like easily flexed out of.
But, and it can be flexed into too. Let's not forget that either.
Oh yeah, they definitely can do that. And if I think that would be on the November 28th game could be a potentially flex if they both are in the hunt.
Are you for or against the holiday games? I saw some Browns fans that kind of seemed excited to be playing on Christmas. I have zero desire for the Bengals to be playing on Christmas or Thanksgiving. I like those games to be things I can have on, but not have to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think the Bengals have actually played in a Thanksgiving
Yeah, they
game. It
played the
was like a
Jets in
night
prime
game.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really remember that game. But like on Christmas, I feel like Christmas to me, it's solely like NBA. Like I have the NBA on all day in the background. If I see it, like it's
So wait,
fine.
Christmas is on a Saturday this year. You'll watch the NBA, a
Well,
game that does not.
not this year,
Okay.
but I mean, normally I just have it on in the background.
Yeah. It's a great background sport.
Yeah, but this year, NFL, I mean, I do have some of my friends that were like, oh, yeah, we're definitely going to be going to the Christmas game, but it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's
Like,
going to be
why
cold.
would you want to be there? And it's Christmas Day, a day you're supposed to be spending with family and friends, and you're just going to be in the dog pound going away at it, just cold.
Well, you're about to learn that once you have children, and I'm going down a slippery slope here. Once you have children and a beautiful wife as you have, sometimes allegedly, this is what I've heard, you just need to go to a Browns game with your friends and get drunk and see them lose to Aaron Rodgers on Christmas.
Right. And I know I have a friend who for sure at that time, his son will probably be a year old and he's definitely planning to go and leave his baby at home with his family and go down there probably with his dad and be in the dog pound.
I think his son will appreciate that one day.
Oh yeah, and his name is Otto.
After Otto Graham. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Otto's a good name. He's going to be beating people up by the time he's 7.
let's hope.
So, all right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on. I'd like to hang more, but as I told you before we started recording, the lady just arrived with some product I've never had before called Chick-fil-A, and apparently I should get it while it's hot.
Oh, you definitely do. You can't not have Chick-fil-A hot, and I totally understand. Whatever. Happy life, happy wife.
That's what they. I think you said that backwards.
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, but also there's a new one. It's happy house, happy spouse.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah,
I think Hatton. I'm not gonna go too far down the rabbit hole. By the way, you got to use your Chick-fil-A gift cards. Those are at a premium.
$30 worth. I mean, it's not good.
Why is that not good?
Because I want to eat it all the time, and I can't eat like I was when I was 21.
Well, you could. It just wouldn't be as flattering.
No, it's not. It's not flattering. And my wife would be like, "You need to run on the treadmill for 5 years."
Wow, she brings you down like that, huh?
Oh, I mean, hey,
I know. I'm kidding. All right, dude. Chris Brantley, what do you want to tell people? Follow him on Twitter at P. Chris Brantley, right?
At P. Chris Brantley. Most of my tweets are about the Bengals or music or whatever. I also do have a blog. It's called Beats and Breakdowns.
Oh, yeah,
with Brantley. Yeah. So I blog every now and then. It's mostly about sports and music.
You and I making
my wife.
Making our internships we talked about at the top come to life. Me with the podcast I lose money on, you with the blog you put on Twitter. We're killing it.
Yep, that's what we do.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on. Chris Brantley, go follow him on Twitter. Check out his blog. He's got a lot of good insight about the Bengals. And I'm at Matt Edwards on Twitter. You already know that. Again, I will not be back until sometime in June. P. Chris, thanks for coming on, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you.